Biden administration warns as Russia and the Iran military ties deepening into partnership. So this is the news coming with the reference of the Wall Street Journal. As you know that the relationship between the two nations, Iran and the US, is very low, and now Russia is coming into picture, so we can understand what is the gravity of the situation. The relationship between the Russia and the Iran have evolved into full-fledged defense partnership, the US said. Russia is providing an unprecedented level of military support, said John Kirby, a spokesman for a US National Security Council. The United States has received a report that two countries are considering co-producing deadly drones. He added, the same drones are provided to Russia against Ukraine war. The Russian-Iranian cooperation has been in the spotlight lately, with the Ukraine accusing Russia of using the Iranian drone in attack. Russia's war on Ukraine and the possible restructuring of the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as JCPOA, have put a Tehran-Moscow relation in the spotlight. Over the past decade, increased the Western sanctions against Iran and animosity with the United States have allowed Tehran to deepen its political, economic, and security ties with Moscow. Russia shares Iran's vision of multipolar world order in which United States play a subordinate role. At a high-level meeting this summer between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, Russia puts an Iranian satellite into orbit for the first time, and Iran supplied Russia with the drone it could deploy to Ukraine. It is said that this development have ignited debate in the Tehran about how far to lean toward Moscow, especially in the West as a sanction on Iran as a part of its reconstruction. Washington has previously condemned the security competition between the Iran and the Russia put on Friday. It is detailed a wide range of ties including equipment such as helicopters, military aircraft and drones, the latter of which could lead to a new US sanction. Kirby notes that Russia and the Iran are considering the setting up drone assembly line in Russia for the Ukraine conflict, while Russia is training Iranian pilot in Sukhoi 35 fighter jets. Iran said it could be receive a plane delivery later this year. But let's understand how is the Iran's own politics all about between the US and Russia. In fact, many Iranian leaders are still deeply suspicious of Russia. This is the sentiment rooted in the history of betrayal. Against this background, Iran political elite split into her two main groups in their views on Russia. One group is advocated strong ties with Russia as a means of survival for the Iranian regime and the means of countering the US military presence near the Iranian border. The Trump administration's decision to withdraw United States from the nuclear deal 2018 and its policy for the maximum pressure on the Iran have boosted support for those who favor an alliance with Russia. Khamenei, his close friends such as the foreign policy advisor Ali Akbar Balaiti and the Maji spokesman Mohammad Bagh Gharibaf, the commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps (IRGC), are clearly head of side players and situations. They share the Kremlin's concern about the threats from the West, including NATO expansion, and call for the greater bilateral cooperation to protect Iran from Western sanctions and military strikes. But the second group, known as the pragmatists, include the moderates and the conservative politicians who view Russia as an important neighbor but oppose the effort to strengthen the strategic ties with country. They believe there is the value in keeping Iran open to the West and avoiding overdependence on Russia. Members of this group include the former Foreign Minister Javed Zarif, former President Hassan Rouhani, and the current Chief of the Supreme National Security Council Ali Shamkhani. All three call for the de-escalation with the West. Another member of the group's moderate former IRGC commander Hossein Ali said Russia's stance on the Iran was not only about the war in Syria but also about the energy sector. The UN Security Council hold and armed trade strongly objected. In April 2021, Sharif accused the Moscow of trying sabotage the JCPOA and the use Iran's army in Syria. Stalemate in the nuclear talk with Iran in 2014 and 2015. In March 2022, when Iran and the United States appeared to be finalizing plan to restore JCPOA, the Kremlin said the Ukraine-related Western sanctions against Russia hampered any prosperity of such realization, confused and the process by implying that Shamkhani tacitly expressed his disappointment in the Moscow, but after the understanding the home politics, let us know the why Iran is so important for the USA. So the first thing, the important point is that Iran is an Islamic nation, and as you know that the Pakistan, Afghanistan, the surrounding nation are the following the Islamic ideology and the origin of the terrorist group like Lashkar-e-Taiba, ISIS. So this is the major threat to the USA that if the Iran goes away from the USA, then it will be very harmful for the US as it may grow the terrorists and other things and weapon may be found in their hand. Second thing for the importance of Iran for the USA is entirely geopolitical. As we know that the location of Iran is very crucial for USA. It is in the Middle East and it's all the oil producing area. The presence of China and Russia is the growing in this region, and this is the dangerous for the USA as USA is the global power which rely on the cooperation of regional allies. And in this case, primarily Israel, Saudi Arabia, and some smaller Gulf states. But Iranian policy seeks to destabilize the region through proxy forces, waging the war against allies such as Hezbollah and Hamas against Israel, and the Houthi against Saudi Arabia. So we can't ignore this fact that Iran should be the in favor of USA as USA interest because it will secure the regional interest of the USA. The next point why Iran is so important for the USA is that USA do not want to spread nuclear weapon as it is a deadly and as more and more nations receive those nuclear weapons, it will minimize the credibility and importance of the USA in the world politics. So USA knows these things. USA don't want to do these things. The next point in this case is that human rights violation in the Iran. As you know, the USA always try to act as a global police and the watchdog for the human rights. You know that the majority of the human rights and mainly the deadly punishment in Iran are the serious concerns in the view of the human rights. So USA don't want that if Iran goes in favor of the China or the Russia, the human rights situation in Iran may be goes down at deadly situation. So USA don't want to do that. So that's also one of the importance for the USA. But this situation is happening and the USA want to improve. So USA is thinking to more sanction on Iran may must be the economical sanction and some like the embargoes so that Iran should realize what is their mistake and why to not align with the Russia. But these are the things on the tables. But let's see what is the way ahead, what is the solution in the situation because situation and the leading toward the future is more important in this case. So first the solution in this case is USA and the Western allies should think about the revival of the GCPOA. GCPOA is the mechanism to bring Iran on the table and discuss about its nuclear program. Currently, according to the news, Iran is enriching its nuclear atom so that it can attain the level of nuclear bomb. But USA don't want to do that. So GCPO is the important mechanism and the revival of this is very important. But unfortunately, Trump administration terminated this mechanism and this is the serious development. This was a serious development. Second thing is the diplomacy. Diplomacy, so it's said that the Georgia is always better than war. So bringing on table, discussing with the diplomatic way, and the making Iran the as an ally through the diplomacy will be the good option. Next thing is that we should and the world should western allies and USA should harness the neutral countries like India, which have the good relationship with all the these countries, the Iran, USA, and the Russia. So USA should think India like country should be the mediator in this case. And the last thing is win-win agreement must be in this case because Iran is the important ally and the USA should think about his own interest also, the Iran's interest also, so that Iranian also grow in the better manner and they also have the good stakes in the politics of the Middle East. Also, the rivalry between the Saudi Arabia, which is dominated by the Sunni Muslim, and Iran, which is dominated by the Shia Muslim, should be minimized so that the geopolitical situation in the Middle East will be in the control. But the recent development is happening that uh, Saudi Arabia Saudi Arabia received the Xi Jinping, the president of the China recently, and that's also attract the anger of the USA. So it's become the very important to see the what's happening in this region, how USA manages situation, and how things will be go in this region. So it will be the really interesting things in the future. So let's analyze these things in another topic for today. That's it. Thank you.